Hello, YouTube fam. How y'all doing? It's your Uncle Tim. This is Uncle Tim Rants and Reviews, the channel where I rant and I review. I'm your host, Uncle Tim. I've been talking in the last video about the CEOs talking to the president, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, having a conversation about tariffs. And they predicted that the shelves will be empty within a month or two. Fam, when that happens, civil unrest begins. When people start noticing that resources are getting scarce, they start looting, they start rioting, they start just going nuts. And this is something that I'm telling you, we might all want to prepare for. We might want to prepare, have some things put up, some money that's not in a financial institution, money that we got put to the side because, we don't know what's about to happen. We don't know what, another situation like the pandemic, which this one will be much worse, where the pandemic, we had stuff. Here, we are not going to have anything. A lot of our things that we use come from other countries because it's cheaper to make them over there. And, people been hollering about, we need those jobs, bring those jobs back. So, okay, they're going to bring the jobs back. We're going to say hypothetically, it's going to take a long time to get those products that we used to get from overseas up and running. And that's going to be a long time. So you got to look at it. We're going to be without for a minute. And see, the alternative would have been slowly winging ourselves off, not just a drastic cut, like you're cutting the umbilical, bro. We still got to live here. We still got to consume the products that we consume. At one point, we used to get products, for as food from overseas because, food's made in Italy and Europe and all of these other places, which is all, Europe and other places like that. They have less, chemicals, less ingredients in their food than we do. It's like drinking a Fanta Pop over here, whereas the pop is orange here. And, over in Europe, it's light orange. I done had it in Europe. I done had it in the Dominican, Canada, which some of this stuff in these places are much different than it is here. Because our laws allow certain things to be added to our foods, what we drink. There's chlorine in our water. There's fluoride in our water. And, there's so much shit going on, bro. And again, they're making it seem like none of this is happening. Like I tell you, stock up on your water, stock up on household stuff, man. Things that you might need. Somebody said, why would you get light bulbs if they cut off the lights? If you got a generator, light bulbs still work. My whole thing is make sure you understand what it is you got going on and how the situation may affect you and your families. Faith. I don't know where faith is going right now. The Pope has passed. And I don't know with the current situation and the leadership and the guidance around the world that we have, who would take his place. Now, again, with religion, I may not all, completely 100% be in, but I have faith. I'm spiritual. My thing is, man, you bring the wrong person in right now, and they'll tear this whole situation up. We already have situations dealing with, economics and, then you add religion to it, bro. You're going to break the people. And, the thing is, where all the people at? Everything is dropping and, it's all just being put aside. Uh, a lot of people are saying they're not doing business with the U.S. anymore and just don't cut us off. Now, think about it. We're one of the biggest consumer-based markets any damn where. We do so much of stuff, but we never think, what we need to do, man. There's so much stuff that we need to pay attention to and get our shit together, man. And, like I said, stock up on your toilet paper, stock up on your, home essential toothpaste and all that stuff, man. Foods, dry goods, like I said before, peanut butter and stuff, man. Civil unrest is happening, bro. What happens when, people get done in too much? In other countries, they riot. They out there protesting. You know, any other damn country around the world, if you go to Europe, France, Italy, any one of those countries, Sweden, Switzerland, motherfuckers are rioting over shit. When shit go wrong, you start raising the prices on shit. People out there rioting and having a fit. Out there marching. Here, shit go, and we just take it. And we've been taking it for a long time. And this is why they keep doing it to us. They raise the prices on shit and nobody say anything. Well, maybe they needed to raise the prices. Then they raise it again like, well, shit, they ain't saying that. Next thing you know, you got $100 video games. The damn system ain't nothing but $400 or $500. You buy 5 games, you got the whole damn system. Bro, it shouldn't be like this. And this is why I say we need to pay attention. We need to look. We need to look past every damn thing. It's way past, political parties and shit like that, man. Look, I'm not denouncing or saying anything about anybody. Right now, we need to pay attention. At the end of the day, dude, it's about our livelihood, our way of life. That's what's being threatened right now. Now, if your way of life is not even a good one and you be like, shit, then, I don't care. They could just have this motherfucker. I know some people out there. I know some people who are like that. I know some people who were in New Orleans when the levees broke. And all of a sudden, they lost their homes completely underwater, damaged beyond compare. At that particular point, the insurance was saying they were no cover it and all of this. And, shit, the banks were like, well, you might have to rebuild. We want our money. Shit, people were just leaving and was like, the hell with that. And this is what I'm saying. You don't want people to get to the point where they just like the hell with it. This is what's happening when all of those things happen in California, those wildfires and shit like that. And you see all these people like the hell with that. I'm tired. Look at all these small businesses talking about they're not going to be able to do any damn thing right now because of those tariffs. And, just trying to sell stuff to consumers damn near, like doubled the price. People ain't gonna go for that. People gonna be like, the hell with it. People who got, little niche businesses, where they get their stuff manufactured in other countries, man, please. They're looking at it like, damn, we're about to lose everything. The middle class is about to go the way of the dinosaur. It's about to go extinct. We're sitting here thinking that everything is getting better. It's not, man. Anytime that your business is not able to thrive in any economy, my friend owned a detailing business, even though he detailed cars and things like that. And what I'm trying to say is, I know you like, but what does that got to do with anything? If nobody got any damn money, who gonna use your damn services? Bro, you got to think about every damn thing. If people are losing jobs, the people who 9 times out of 10 can afford your services are losing jobs, man, you got an issue going on right there. Your clients are no longer able to afford your product. Do you lower the price of your product, or what do you do? You're sitting there trying to figure out how all of this is going to work out. Dude, civil unrest is a motherfucker. This is when I guess they start changing the world, the new world order, or whatever, the NWO, or what is about to happen. This statement, these conversations been talked about for years, talking about how all of this stuff is going to work. You slowly destroy the economy, you slowly undermine the people. Guess what's left? Nothing. This is why I say fights should be happening. When we were locked up in that pandemic, we should have been out there protesting, but nobody wanted to protest. Everybody wanted to listen to their celebrities tell them, well, you should stay at home. We're paid to stay at home. We're millionaires, but they're paying us even more millions. And this is the thing, look at this. And I want you to understand this. Why are all these celebrities hawking all of these games? I believe in the Bible. Now, all of a sudden, you got people, far as celebrities, talking to you about the Bible now. What type of shit is that? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear your endorsement on me and my faith. My faith is private. Dude, why do we got all this? And see, this is what I'm talking about. This is where we're losing it at. This is what we're not paying attention to. Man, you know what? We all want to be strong and, and overlook everybody else and say, look, we're going to rise again. This country is going to be great. It is. It honestly, I don't understand to say the generations coming out of school right now, trying to understand the economy, trying to understand where they fit in this world. How do they see themselves? And, man, you come into this thinking like, damn, it's like a train wreck. You coming in, and instead of offering you a certain price, now they telling you to make $15 an hour in certain places. You got to have a college degree. So you telling me to work, dude, and I hate to say this, I was reading a sign and at this McDonald's it said you got to have a college damn degree. I was sitting here like, what? Are you the store manager? Or are you assistant manager? What is going on? No. See, this is what they're looking at. They have all these unrealistic expectations. And I'm like, what the hell is really going on? You really pushing everybody away. You sitting here talking to me about you done lost your damn mind. You telling me you go to school, and like I say, for some people, school can be a scam or a trap. I don't believe it's a scam per se. I believe pyramid scheme, trap, whatever you want to call it. You're trapped with all this damn debt. Used to be you could write the debt off at some point in time. They trying to do away with that. Whereas, they trying to do away with a lot of shit right now. Whereas you just stuck with it. Bro, this is what I'm saying. Pay attention. They got rid of like apprenticeships and things like that. They were getting rid of stuff that would not allow you to just, carry all that debt. Think about it. Man, I'm looking at it just like this, man. You truly got to understand what is going on and why. You got to continue to pay attention. One thing about this country, man, it's built on bullshit at times. When I say bullshit, it's built on rich people getting richer. And I'm not talking about, anything negative about the country. I love this country. But we're facing issues, man, that are unprecedented right now, man. And, people are looking at it like, you got people leaving the damn country right now. They rather go somewhere else. And I'm sitting here like, damn, is it that serious? You leaving the country and people like good riddance. No, not good riddance. These are Americans leaving. These are not people that just come here and be like, well, America. No, these are people who are American citizens saying, shit, I'm taking my money and going somewhere else. Can you blame them? Can you blame them? If you take away your way of life, you went from making, I'm going to say it like this, you make $50,000 a year. Your partner makes $50,000 a year. Y'all make $100,000 together. One of y'all lose y'all job. That's $50,000 a year. One of y'all get laid off. That's $50,000. What I'm trying to say is, your way of life is being challenged. And, maybe somewhere else you might get appreciated. Sometimes, I tell everybody, get a second or third opinion. You get a diagnosis at a doctor or hospital, get a second or third opinion before you listen to anybody. Before you believe anything they say in is gospel, get a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion. Because your life is more important, man. These people thrive on giving you all these crazy medications that, you should be on. You should be on this. There's no way at this age you shouldn't be taking a pill that's gonna fuck your mind up. No, I'm not taking all this heavily medicated shit. Why? Because half of this shit has side effects that I have to have medication for the side effects. Dude, I'm not taking no more pills. Shit, you tired at this point. This is why I'm telling you to pay attention, man. Anytime people moving from Florida, it's a trip. And Florida has the economy before the pandemic was really, really tolerable. It was really cheap. It was affordable. It was a great place to be. But now people are looking at it like shit. Clearwater, Tampa, St. Petersburg, all these damn places are through the roof right now. People are talking about cheap rent. Well, it's only $1,200, Hell, that price is the same every damn where else. That rent is high. Why would I go there? And it might be hard for me to find a job. Houston used to be a place to go for a lot of people. Um, and a lot of people right now are like, yeah, too many people are already there, man. This is why I say you gotta find your path. And a lot of people haven't been looking at that. A lot of people been looking at the biggest thing, you know,